Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Tuesday, December 1st. Thanks for joining me to get filled in on what's impacting you here in Northeast Ohio with the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. A big story that everyone is talking about is all of that snow we got overnight. I can tell you there's a lot of snow here in downtown Cleveland. You should have seen me taking Winston out this morning. I actually had to have an umbrella to block the wind from him. It was hilarious. I'm sure I will be posting lots of it later, so you can find that on my Instagram. That's _Stephanie Haney. We also want you to send us your snow videos, and we'll get to that at the end of 3 News Now here today. But first, we have some breaking news out of Washington, D.C. U.S. Attorney General William Barr has said today that the U.S. attorneys and FBI agents have been following up on specific complaints about alleged voter fraud, which has been a baseless claim that President Donald Trump continues to make. But William Barr said today that the Justice Department has not uncovered evidence of widespread voter fraud that would change the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. Now, this is as President Donald Trump refuses to concede his loss to President-elect Joe Biden. But that's not stopping Biden from moving forward. He has formally unveiled his team of economic advisors today. It's a team of liberal advisors who have long focused on the nation's workers in government efforts to address economic inequality. Janet Yellen, one of them, was announced on Monday. That's Biden's nominee for Treasury Secretary. She served as chair of the Federal Reserve from 2014 to 2018, and during that time, she placed a greater emphasis than previous federal chairs on maximizing employment and less focus on price inflation. Also, Biden named Cecilia Rouse as chair of his Council of Economic Advisors and Heather Boucher and Jared Bernstein as members of the council. You can read more about those players on WKYC.com and a little bit more about their backstory. Now, when he made the formal announcement today, he was at a theater in downtown Wilmington, Delaware, and he was moving around kind of gingerly in that black walking boot because he had a fracture on his right foot while playing with one of his dogs over the weekend. He fractured 2 small bones in the middle of his right foot. That's according to Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor. So we can expect to see him in that walking boot for at least a couple of weeks. Now today, Tuesday, December 1st, it's Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday is a day to give back and do acts of kindness if you're able. Well, MetroHealth today is having quite the Giving Tuesday. They got a $42 million donation. This is the largest financial gift to MetroHealth in history, and it comes from Joanne and Bob Glick. This $42 million will be used to address the health disparity in Cleveland by funding community health programs. And that money will be used to improve social determinants of health that impact the well-being of people living in neighborhoods with significantly lower life expectancy than people who live in the suburbs. So what are those health inequalities? Well, MetroHealth President and CEO Dr. Akram Boutros says access to quality food, safety, transportation, education, and reducing stress, just to name a few. Now, this is a major shift in medical thinking. This is instead of focusing just on making people well after they've become sick, it's giving the tools to prevent sickness in the first place. So a really preventative approach here rather than a reactionary approach of treating the symptoms and hoping to make someone better after the fact. A little bit about Joanne and Bob Glick. Joanne is a registered nurse and has worked in inner city hospitals in both Cleveland and Philadelphia. And Bob was the founder and CEO of Dots, that clothing chain, before he sold that retail company in 2011. Bob said that he saw the need from the perspective of both his employees and customers to improve these social determinants of what can really impact healthcare in Northeast Ohio and beyond. Now, the Glicks said that their mission was improving healthcare outcomes for women and children in the city of Cleveland. They spent a lot of time researching organizations and came up with Metro. They decided on MetroHealth because they decided that its mission aligned with theirs. And Joanne Glick said that they're focused, like the Glicks are, on keeping people healthy and leveling the playing field. So that $42 million will certainly go a long way here in Northeast Ohio. Thank you very much to the Glicks for that very generous gift on this Giving Tuesday. Now let's take a look at those numbers from the Ohio Department of Health. And remember, there's an unprecedented volume of cases right now. So this data is not complete. There are thousands of reports that are still pending review. And even so, today we saw 9,030 new cases of COVID-19 in the state of Ohio. The latest positive rate for daily testing is from Sunday. That's at 14.4%. That's a little bit lower than we saw yesterday. And the 7-day average is a little bit higher at 14.7%. We saw a huge increase in new deaths today. Yesterday, remember, we saw 30 new deaths. Well, today, 119 new deaths reported. That brings the total up over 6,500 people who have passed away related to COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio. And the new hospitalizations, a huge increase in that. In the last 24 hours, there have been 585 people newly hospitalized for being treated with COVID-19. That's over 200 more than we saw yesterday. That brings the total number of people in the hospital right now to 5,226. So yes, the new hospital admissions are outpacing the number of people being discharged. There are 166 more people in the hospital today being treated with COVID-19 than there were yesterday. And of those people being treated, 1,233 of them are being treated in an intensive care unit. That's 53 more people in ICUs than there were yesterday. Also, we take a look at how many of the hospital beds are available in the state of Ohio. This number is ticking down. 25% of the hospital beds in the state of Ohio are available right now, which is something that we've been told to keep an eye on from our medical professionals and from Governor Mike Dewine. Now let's take a look at the U.S. and the national numbers. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. In the U.S., there are now 13,605,981 cases that have been reported for COVID-19, and the total number of deaths is almost at 270,000 now. That number is 269,192. And if we compare that to when we looked at these numbers at the same time yesterday, that's 1,886 new deaths in the U.S. in the last 24 hours. The percentage of the global cases that the U.S. has is also ticking up. We're at 21.4% of the global cases just here in the U.S., and the percentage of the deaths is at 18.3%. Remember, the U.S. only has 4% of the global population. Those global numbers, according to Johns Hopkins University, now at 63,556,040 cases of COVID-19 and 1,474,643 global deaths related to COVID-19. Now, in the middle of all of this, there have been articles of impeachment filed against Governor Dewine by his fellow Republicans. These have been drafted by State Representative John Becker of Claremont County and 3 other representatives, Nino Vitale, Candace Keller, and Paul Zeltwanger. They say that this is, quote, an effort to restore the rule of law. So these articles of impeachment allege that Dewine has abused his power as governor and has violated both the Ohio and the U.S. constitutions and the Ohio Revised Code. Becker brought up Dewine vetoing Senate Bill 55 and also that he's threatened to veto other legislation, which Becker called other reasonable legislation, including Senate Bill 311, which would have limited the Department of Health's power to require quarantines and those kinds of things. Now, in August, Becker drafted 10 articles of impeachment against Dewine, hadn't actually filed them, but at that time, Dewine said, have at it. In August, when Becker drafted the 10 articles, he said that he was doing this to urge Dewine to, quote, end the madness. And there was a website, impeachdewine.com, where he urged people to go there and check and see if their representatives had signed on to supporting the impeachment effort. Well, as of Monday, only Becker, Vitale, Keller, and Zeltwanger, the people who have brought forth these articles of impeachment right now, were indicated on that website as backing the impeachment effort. Well, back in August, Dewine said, listen, as governor, my priorities are to keep people safe and to get our economy moving faster. If there are others in the legislature who want to spend their time drawing up resolutions and filing articles, I'd just say to them, have at it. You can read the full text of the articles of impeachment, which again have been filed only, would have to be voted on by the House, and then if the House did formally accept those articles of impeachment, then there would be a trial in the Senate, very similar to how the impeachment happened at the beginning of this year against President Donald Trump when he was impeached, which again is a formal charge of wrongdoing. It's not a determination of guilt. So we'll be following this story on WKYC.com. Speaking of the sports world, however, Myles Garrett has been activated from the COVID-19 reserve list a day earlier than expected. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said yesterday he expected him to be back by at least Wednesday. Well, here we are Tuesday, and he is off the reserve list after sitting out 2 games because he either tested positive or came in close contact with someone who had tested positive for COVID-19, and he is expected to be on the field on Sunday when the Browns, which are 8-3, by the way, take on the Tennessee Titans at 1 p.m. in Tennessee. But another key defender is now out. Safety Ronnie Harrison is on injured reserve because he suffered a shoulder injury in the first quarter of the game on Sunday where the Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-25. Now, Harrison has been an impactful player this season. He's had 32 tackles, 6 pass defenses, and an interception that he returned for a touchdown against the Indianapolis Colts. So, to sort of fill that void, on Monday, the Browns claimed former Kansas City Chiefs safety Tedrick Thompson off of waivers. So we'll be seeing Thompson joining the Browns roster. The Browns, though, are having other troubles today with all of this snowfall. Up on WKYC.com, we have a roundup of some of the Cleveland Browns' reactions to all the snow that we're all seeing, including safety Ronnie Harrison, who grew up in Tallahassee, Florida, by the way, and he played in college in Alabama, and he played with the Jacksonville Jaguars before being traded to Cleveland in August. So, Browns cornerback and Louisiana native Greedy Williams posted a video of Harrison having a hard time clearing the snow off of his truck. Wide receiver Kadarrell Dodge, also, who grew up in Mississippi and spent college playing in Texas, said, if you're driving today, just go ahead and avoid him. He posted today, if you see me on the road, go around. I'll be driving maximum 15 miles per hour with the emergency lights on. And he posted the hashtag, driving in the snow ain't it. Listen, I'm with you. I'm not driving anywhere, and I'm certainly not cleaning off the car. I'm going to be turning on the heater and letting that run for a while to kind of make that a little bit easier. Now, back to Giving Tuesday. Today is Giving Tuesday, again, a day for kindness and charitable donations if you're able. So here's just a couple local nonprofits that would love your support if you are able. The Cleveland Kindness Challenge wants people to do an act of kindness or make a donation if you can now through December 15th. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is offering music lessons on YouTube for a donation. And the Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless is matching all donations today, dollar for dollar, all day long. And if you want more ideas about Giving Tuesday, specifically with organizations impacting here in Northeast Ohio, you can check those out on WKYC.com. And finally, before we go, we want you to send us those snow pictures and send us your holiday light pictures too. I've just created a video walking you through how you can do it very easily right from the camera roll on your phone or right from opening up the WKYC app. So that's on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Check that out. And it's also up on WKYC.com and in our WKYC app. I'll see you next up on What's New at 5 p.m. with the Trending Stories segment, Clicking in Cleveland. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now. Everyone, stay safe, be well, avoid that wind, keep yourself dry, but enjoy the winter wonderland that we're seeing in Northeast Ohio today. I'm Stephanie Haney.